everybody. Thank you for joining us. We're back on Friday nights. I just want to let you guys know I had my internet set up perfectly, nice little Ethernet cable, everything going strong, so we didn't have issues with the Wi-Fi going wonky, none of that technical stuff. I let my little guy borrow the Ethernet cable, and now I don't know how to get it working again. So I got Nutslap on the line. If something crazy happens to happen, I'm going to step out and talk to him, and he's going to walk me through resetting up the Ethernet cable that he was nice enough to gift me. And it was working perfectly. But then my little man got a PC for Christmas, and he wanted to use it, and I let him. And I did not give myself enough time I thought you just plug it in. I didn't realize I had to mess with the settings. So anyway, Ghost Dragons and I are here tonight with you all. Slow motion Blue Crossroads. I saw Batmom in here. What we're going to do is just feel this out. I want to stream every Friday night again, really get back into the habit of it. Tonight we're going to be talking about a true crime case that's near and dear to my heart, actually. I've covered it once a year, every year, since I started YouTube, like 4.5, it'll be 5 years this September, so 4.5 years ago. And it's the case of Joey Lynn Offit. I'm going to give people a few minutes to come on in. Thank you for those of you who are already here and who are showing up, who do show up for me with the pre-recordeds. This Tuesday, Tuesday, we're going to be talking about the disappearance and bizarre death of Ray Rivera. There's no video? What are you talking about? What? You guys can't see me at all. Ghosty, put your mic on.
I see you. I'm watching I call it the cell phone.
What's up, Mike? Yeah, no, I didn't even want that on there. I don't know why StreamYard forces
double the views. Actually, you do get double views on it, so you get counted for both of them.
I know, but I don't want that to be all they're seeing.
Oh no, they can. They should have two choices. If
one says I'm only seeing vertical, one says I have no video, and the other one says you're fuzzy.
Yeah, in mine you're fuzzy.
You just told me I looked clearer than I ever have in my life.
Right before we started.
Okay. Ghosty, take over for a minute. I'm going to connect to the Ethernet. All right.
All right, tight, guys. Good. She'll be back. Okay, much better. Now give her time to get situated. Yeah, I've checked all my stuff. I know it's not me, but then again, I hesitate a lot of times to make sure everything's going to be good. I'm writing both chats. I'm in right now I'm with I call the cell phone app, and then in the regular one. So there are two running. Go to the other one, should be fine. Now I see you. Yeah, she's fuzzy. You guys are a little bit behind. Yeah, there's two streams. You have it's what they call their phone app stream. So if you're watching this on a phone, you're going to get this stream, I believe now. Because every time I try to do a live, it only gives you on the phone, it only gives you this. Now, if you're on a PC or a laptop, you'll get an option of both. Yeah, I'm set up real good. And I'm pretty much in the same setup now as she's got. But I don't know why she's having trouble. So, and it sucks because I know she really wanted to be here. She'll let Nutslap will walk her through it. But yeah, now there's two streams. A lot of people forget about that. Unless you're running PC, there are two streams up. Yes. There are two streams. Yeah, there's two streams. Yes. There's a regular stream for like PCs. I call them, your iPads, but even the iPads has a choice of two. But when you're using your phone to watch, you only get the elongated one now, I believe. When I looked on my phone, they didn't give me the option of both. I got stuck with the cell phone app. So when you're on the cell phone, this is what you're going to get now, I guess. YouTube has changed everything. But if you run both streams and people watch replays and stuff, it counts as 2 separate streams, so that doubles your views. But yeah, I would prefer to go back to 1 stream. But I've been running both on my Gemma's replays, so. And it doubles my views because most people watch it on the phone anyways. And then you get to people just casually sitting on their PC watching YouTube and stuff. Because the cell phone is definitely a lot higher than the regular. Hey, Life with Bobby, how you doing? And I want to say hi, Blue. Hi, Mike Roberts, Mr. Roberts. Hello, Nut Slap. Thank you for helping her. I did say Blue. Hello, Slow Motion. Yeah, we're just trying to figure it out. Yeah, 2 shows for me. Yeah, you're on a phone. Oh, they gave you 2 on your phone? That's weird because when I first checked it out, I was only getting the cell phone app. Trying, bless her heart. I don't know what's interfering. It almost acts like it's like interference. There she is. I see her now. She looks a lot better. But yeah, just give her time. She's trying to work it out. Yeah, she had it set up real good. Well, when you maybe we need, you'd let me know what you sent her, and I'll send her another one. That way they each have their own. Figure it out. But yeah, and as soon as she gets on, we'll talk. Hopefully she can come back. I'm watching her in the back room, and she looks good now. She's not freezing up or anything. This one's perfect. Which one? Oh, you're in the regular stream. Yeah, that one runs great. But so you do get 2 options on your phone, Mike? That's wow. What do you have? An eye or? Because I want to know. Because I only got the 1. I didn't get 2 options. Trying to stay in the frame here because I noticed on the small one. Let me go over and check out the other stream real quick. Yeah, yeah, that one's running real nice. Nice and smooth. I know, Slap. Is both chats showing up in both of them? No. Okay, hi, live. I see you, folks. I'm in both chats, going back and forth. Yeah, the regular one is running great. I'm trying to keep my voice with you guys. I didn't say a whole lot for the hour before the show, so that will help. Here she comes. Still kind of fun. You're moving okay.
I don't know what to do. I was not expecting this to happen. And are you talking and I don't hear you, or are you just?
No, I was just saying it was okay.
Okay. Nutslap and I are trying, but I feel like there's so much to do, and I do apologize. I've got to get back into this. So if I'm blurry, let's just focus on that y'all can hear me. And before we come back next week, I will make sure I have everything set up. I didn't expect this because I've streamed on Friday night for 4 straight years, and all I did was turn it on and stream. And now StreamYard changed everything, and I got the Ethernet cable to have better than the Wi-Fi, and it's just not, there's just too much going on. So, you know, I'll go hopefully at least the next 45 minutes. I do think that's what it is, Nutslap, and I'm going to go into StreamYard and shut that down. I thought it was just a glitch, but I can't do it midstream because deleting one that way will delete both.
Yeah.
And then I won't have any stream. But so I apologize, guys. I wasn't expecting this.
And I'll show you how to get that off of there when you set up the stream.
Yeah, I don't like this whole thing anyway. Like, you should be able to choose your settings. But anyway,
yeah, you can.
Here's what I want to do. I want to get into this case because I want to make these streams very focused like we used to do with Oracle, but with talking about true crime, the paranormal. Nuts up, thank you, by the way. Maybe tomorrow or Sunday we can get on a video call somehow and you can help me rehook this back up the right way. Yeah, because I want this to be a regular thing. I want to reconnect with you guys. I really needed a break from live streaming. I was so drained and just so many things going on with other platforms. And so I don't know if you guys remember, if you've been with me for a while, we talked about at least once a year, I've covered 4 different cases. I believe it's 4. We talked about Lauren Dunn Astley. We talked about Clinton Nelson, whose mom I'm friends with, and the accused in his case I'm actually very close with as well. And I don't believe he's guilty. We can talk about that one for sure. I could probably even have him on if I wanted to. And we've talked about Kayla Berg and Joey Lynn Offit. And these are the 4 cases that really, like, they literally haunt my dreams, guys. Even with my reach and my ability, I have not been able to pick much up on these cases. So I'm going to, you guys will still be able to see me, but I won't be able to see the chat just for a minute. I'm going to kind of breeze through and refresh the case. Just talk about it. You know, I'm so used to doing Oracle, like these types of streams. I appreciate you guys showing up and bearing with me through this. So we have Joey Lynn Offit, 32-year-old mother of 3. Okay, she had a 9-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. Not the relationship we're discussing in this video. I could not find any information, and I've been looking, guys, about that child's father, what that relationship entailed, anything like that. The father of her other daughter, her younger daughter, was a man named Alexis Brolin Jr. So the girl in this case, her name is Joey. The guy, his name is Alexis, okay? Joey and Alexis had a very rocky and tumultuous relationship. Joey was developmentally delayed. So she was a grown woman that was 32 years old with 3 kids, but her mentality was of a 14-year-old girl. Alexis didn't have any developmental delay or anything like that. And it was weird to me from the very beginning because it's like, what is this grown 30-something-year-old man doing essentially with this 14-year-old girl, 14, 15-year-old girl? They lived together in an apartment in State College, PA, with Joey's oldest daughter and Alexis's daughter as well. There's a lot of vague reporting in this case, so I really had to dive deep. Something that broke the 2 of them up had to do with Alexis's older son from a previous relationship. So Joey ended up moving out. I'm trying not to like give you guys the whole thing. I'm trying to give you an overview. Alexis and Joey fought all the time, but she did end up getting pregnant with her and Alexis's 2nd child. Joey's mom didn't like her daughter bouncing from place to place to place because she was developmentally delayed. She really couldn't hold down a job. You know, think about this person as a 14-year-old. Like, that was her mentality. She was incredibly trusting. She believed everything everyone said on the internet. This case happened in 2011. So imagine how a naive young woman would be on the internet. She almost got pulled into prostitution. She almost got brought a PDF file into her home. Like, she was making really bad decisions because she just didn't have that maturity. Then she met Alexis and she seemed to be doing a little better. Her mom bought her, just for Joey and the kids, a house, also in Pennsylvania near State College in Sykesville, under the condition that Alexis didn't yet move in. He and Joey were having so many problems, and Joey just kind of wanted the house to herself, to be by herself. Joey had the baby, a little baby boy who they named Alexis Brolin III, who I'm going to call Lex. That's what they called the baby. So on July 3rd in 2007, according to Alexis Brolin Jr., the elder, they had an argument while he was over there that day visiting with the infant because he said Joey was bathing the infant in a dirty kitchen sink. And he had just said to her, like, hey, I don't appreciate you bathing our 3-day-old child, or, you know, couple-day-old child in a dirty sink. Can you clean the sink out first? And Joey, being that she was like 14 years old, she was very sensitive to criticism, and she flipped out, and she was throwing stuff and like breaking stuff, which was nothing new to her. It was nothing new for their relationship. Her 2 older daughters were with her mom at this time, so it was just her and the baby, and Alexis was visiting. She kicked Alexis out. He's like, this always happened. I knew that she would need a couple days to kind of like calm down. I would talk to her in a few days. The next day, on the 4th of July, she didn't answer anyone's phone calls. And, you know, Alexis was like, well, we had plans, but, you know, I know how she gets, so I was going to give her a few more days. On July 5th, though, a neighbor said they saw Joey pushing a stroller down the streets, and they clearly remembered it because when they greeted her and said hello, she wasn't usually so outgoing, trusting, friendly, nice. She just walked right past them without even acknowledging their presence. And the neighbor later said that they didn't even know if the baby was actually in the stroller. It looked like she was pushing an empty stroller down the street. I don't know how the baby, like if I see my neighbor walking down the street with a stroller, right? I'm going to look at the baby and be like, oh my gosh, a new baby.
Oh, yeah, that's like a common thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't happen. So I'm going to break here for a second because I really am trying not to just like list everything off. So, you know, this case gets really weird too because of some information I found out like that happened years after what happened in this case. So basically the neighbor was the last person to have seen her. On July 6th, a nurse from a state home health agency was assigned to check in with Joey and little Lex. That nurse called Alexis and told him that she was at Joey's house for a scheduled visit. She already confirmed it with Joey like a week earlier. It was a mandated visit. So it was in Joey's best interest to answer the door. Otherwise, CPS starts getting involved in things like that. It was really concerning to Alexis because he knew even though if she was still angry at him, she would answer the door for this nurse. The nurse also said she was using her cell phone from the front porch to try and call while she was there, but she wasn't receiving any type of answer at the door, on the phone. There was no movement at all in the house. And she looked through the windows that were accessible from the porch and saw a diaper bag and a car seat sitting next to the front door, but there was no sign of the baby or Joey. She told Alexis that Joey's car was parked out in front of the house, not in the driveway, but that it was definitely there. And there was mail piling up at the front door. So basically, July 3rd is the last time Joey was seen by anybody confirmed. And it was Alexis, and they admittedly had an argument. So that's what I keep thinking, like in the back of my head. But if what the neighbor said was true, she was actually seen on the next day. And we really don't know because that sighting, there's no way to confirm it. Alexis thought that she was still blowing him off, but he went to the house. Her car wasn't there. She didn't answer when he knocked. She didn't answer when he called. So somebody was moving this car. He figured, okay, she's still mad. She must be really mad this time. On July 8th, after once again receiving no answer while at Joey's house, he left a note on the front door for her so that when she came back, he's like pissed. And he leaves this note telling her, if you don't get in touch with me by the end of the day today, I'm calling the police. Because he thinks she's taking this whole bathing in the dirty sink thing and the stubbornness like way too far. Now everyone's worried, including her mom. July 8th, when he went there, the car was parked back in front of the house. Someone's at least moving her car back and forth. July 9th through 10th, Alexis and Joey's mother kept calling the house nonstop for those 2 days. No answers, no callbacks, no nothing. I don't know why no one thought at this point, it's been an entire week, actually 7 to 8 days, to report her as missing. But nobody did at that point. I believe too, the mother said when I watched an interview with her that because of the way Joey was, they were all afraid to call the cops because they knew if nothing was wrong, she would flip out and hate them and keep them from the kids and do all this crazy stuff. Moving on to July 12th, 5 days after the neighbor said they saw her, but 9 days since the argument with Alexis, which is a long time for nobody to know where a special needs young woman and her very newborn baby are. Blah, blah, blah. What do I have here? Her pattern of behavior with her stubbornness to forgive and let go of grudges made them afraid to call the police. Witnesses would come out and tell investigators that around 3 a.m. they saw Joey's car parked out in front of her house. Now, I know ramble, but here's where we get to the case. On the morning of July 13th at around 4:30 in the morning, Joey's neighbors heard a loud explosion coming from her house. When they looked out the window to see what was going on, they saw her home was completely engulfed in flames. They ended up calling 911. The authorities believe that it was important that her car was there at 3:30 a.m. because the car kept randomly reappearing, disappearing, moving from the street to the driveway in the days leading up to her disappearance. When the fire department and police showed up to the fire 12 minutes later, after they were called at 4:30, her car was gone. The firefighters and police determined that the fire was started by an unknown accelerant, and it was started on purpose. This was now not only a missing person case, but an arson investigation as well, because now we're missing Joey, baby Lex, and the house was purposely set on fire. Later on in the day, because this was 4:30 in the morning on July 13th, Alexis finally decided it's time to go and file a missing person report on his fiance and newborn baby. This is when he received the devastating news, and this is a trigger warning, guys, that not only was the house burned to the ground in an apparent arson, but the remains of his 6-week-old son, Alexis Brolin III, were found in the bathtub of the home. Joey's remains were never found. She's still missing to this day. An autopsy would later determine that little Lex was deceased before he was burned in the fire. It's heartbreaking, confusing, and mysterious. I found a little bit of extra information that I didn't see anyone else talking about. So nobody had contacted or gotten in touch with Alexis about the fire at all. He had to go in to do a missing persons report the next day. There's just a lot. People were wondering if maybe she had come under like the influence of like a PDF file again, because her mother years earlier had to go for custody of her 2 daughters because Joey brought this man that she met in California. He told her she could be a model. Joey was heavy set, and you could tell by looking at her that she was mentally had some issues. Her mother even said, "I love my daughter. She was beautiful on the inside, but she ain't no model." I specifically remember her mother saying that. People wonder if maybe Joey purposely or accidentally hurt the baby in some way and panicked. The irony of the fact that the infant was found deceased in the bathtub did not escape me as I went through the information. The fight that kicked off the final argument between Joey and Alexis was because he accused her of trying to bathe the baby in a dirty sink, and she flipped out and got really angry. That's what I'm basically going to give you guys, except for the fact that several years later, Alexis Brolin Jr., the father, and some of his friends were arrested for a meth ring. He was actually the leader of this meth ring, the leader of the pack. He's arrested and doing time in federal prison now. The house blew up by an unknown accelerant. Did Joey find out that he was cooking this stuff maybe in her house or taking advantage of her in that way, and he flipped out? Nobody has ever seen Joey again. And if the neighbor is to be believed, then that's the last sighting. But the neighbor doesn't know, right? So the last sighting could be the argument with her boyfriend. Yeah, they did, and I used them all, actually. Guys, thanks for bearing with me. This is an on-the-fly stream. I definitely want to be more prepared next week, but I do want to go through cases. So these are uploads I've done. Like I said, these 4 cases in particular really stick with me, man. I watched this on the show Disappeared, and that was back in like 2000, when the first year that show came out, 2009, 2010. I still cannot forget this woman. I still cannot forget her. I just wonder, like, what happened to her?
There's so many questions, and Mike's kind of right. The whole family's kind of at fault. There was no paying attention stuff going on, and not really being observant. I mean, is she? My guess, and it'd be kind of trippy if I was right, if she was still alive and she did all this and is off with some guy somewhere, maybe even in another country by now.
I mean, maybe nuts up. It was actually great, except I'm allergic to artificial sweetener, and it does have it in there, and I didn't know, and I was drinking it and getting sick. But that's just because my allergy. Other than that, I hear it was really good. I know Blue bought some. It is an energy drink though, so you got to be careful.
Yeah, I bought some. It was good.
Yeah, I didn't know you bought any. I told you not to because of your health.
Yeah. Oh, well, it just it was good. I had to try it, and I wanted the cup.
So with Joey though, I don't know that she would be. I wonder, there's so many things, right? If it wasn't for the whole meth lab, meth king of Pennsylvania thing that happened with Alexis in the long run,
right?
I would say that maybe she was like trafficked and they unfortunately got rid of the baby. But again, you have a mental, and I'm not blaming the mom, okay? You have a developmentally delayed daughter who's like a 14 or 15-year-old teenager.
Yes.
With a very newborn infant, 6 weeks at that time, okay? Living alone in a house, and nobody's spoken to her for 10, 11, like 12 days.
Nobody's checking in.
And they're checking in. They're just not getting any response. So the reason they don't do anything is because they're like, oh, she's not going to forgive us if we bother her too much. She might get like super mad. I know hindsight's 2020 as a parent. I don't want to step on my especially my oldest son. Like, I don't want to step on his toes. I don't want him to be angry with me. But if he goes missing literally for 12 days, I'm probably going to call the cops and just tell him later on. Like, look,
if I haven't heard from my kids in 3, I'm yelling. Hey,
yeah, no, same thing. My kids know they have to text me at least once a week and like fill me in. Yeah. The car, I have that information.
You do have the car?
I have the information on the car. Oh, yeah. Okay. Joey's ever-moving vehicle was found 2 days after the fire was discovered, abandoned in the parking lot of an apartment complex where she and Alexis used to live. Joey was a short woman, 5'1". So the seat being pushed so far back from the wheel proved that someone much taller was driving the car when it was left there that day. Joey's car was eventually found, and the police found the car parked several hours drive away in State College in the same complex where she and Alexis lived years before, when they had the falling out about his son, when Joey took the girls and moved out. That is really sus. Who would have known to park it there? Who would have even known there was any connection between Joey and that place? Who was the last confirmed person to see her, and who ended up being the freaking king of Tupelo, Sykesville, meth, allegedly, years later?
My question is, did anybody even see her drive the car, get in and out of the car?
Nobody saw. That's the thing.
Did anybody have cameras or anything out?
No, it's 2007.
Oh, that's true. That's before.
The only they were seeing the car move, and that's one of the things I put in the video. I covered this, is like the only other person who had keys to her house and her car were her mom. The only other people, her mom and Alexis, and her mom had her 2 oldest daughters like an hour away in wherever she lived. Oh, so really the only person with access that was close and had keys
would have been him.
Slow motion, he was tall enough. He was tall enough that some people in the family did suspect him. But here's the thing, too. I'm trying to find where... Okay, so he did move on pretty darn quickly from the relationship. He's remarried.
Interesting.
The police said he was never considered a suspect, but they never said why he was never considered a suspect. They never said if they ruled him out. I believe he said he passed a polygraph. Someone else said he didn't, and then the police said they couldn't comment on it.
I wonder if there's been any updates that we can check into.
I checked. The last update I saw was when I have it right here. I was able to access his Facebook account in 2021 when I first covered the story. And even as of then, people were posting just Joey, like on his wall, Joey. But what about Joey Lynn and things like that? Right. While investigating those closest to Joey, the police uncovered the fact that Alexis was in fact a felon and former drug addict. Joey had filed at least 1 protection order from abuse against him. Joey even went so far as to claim that his son from a previous marriage had been physically and in other ways abusing one of her daughters, which had been a part of the reason she had removed the child from the home.
Right.
And that could also be why Alexis wasn't invited to move in when her mom bought her the house. And I'm not saying his son was actually doing any of this. I don't know. There was zero corroboration to any of the claims, to the point where the disappeared episode I watched didn't even mention any of this.
They didn't mention the brother or anything?
No, they didn't mention any of that.
That's kind of weird.
So here it is. Here it is. Here's what I was missing. Police have stated that aside from his, and I quote, absolute refusal to take a polygraph test regarding the arson, the death of Lex, and the disappearance of Joey, Alexis Brolin Jr. is not and has never been a suspect in this case.
What? Sounds like somebody's been paid off.
Literally, absolute refusal. I'm wondering, did they want him for something bigger with the meth stuff?
That's possible. If he's got connections, if he's doing all that and he's got connection, they may be.
I wrote here, I know they're inadmissible, and I also know they're just used as a kind of tool, but I pose to you this question. If the police dug up that he's a felon and former drug addict, and I'm not saying either one of those things are true, or that it makes him guilty, but those two things combined with the fact that he refused to cooperate, take the lie detector test, make me wonder how in the world the investigators could even make a statement like that publicly. How did they rule him out?
Yeah,
it wasn't because he wasn't around or had an alibi, because he was seen by the neighbors going to the house, banging on the door. Everyone saw it. Like, the neighbors saw him there. He admitted to being there, and he admitted to being the last person confirmed to have seen her. But at the end of the day, where'd her body go? Because it wasn't in the fire rubble. They never found it.
Sounds like they used him for information on somebody else, and that was part of the deal, was to kind of play whatever happened with him off.
Well, none of this stuff happened with the meth stuff until 2014, 2015. So this was years later. But I would really like someone to explain the investigators' process of ruling people out in this investigation into a deceased infant and missing woman with special needs. If all of these things, not to mention his volatile relationship with the victim, the last argument they had being about bathing their son while that same baby was found in the bathtub, but he isn't even considered a suspect from the very beginning. And I'll tell you what, no offense to my Pennsylvania people, I will never live there again. That state, to me, being as someone from New Jersey, that state is just too weird for me. Why mention the polygraph at all if he was not a suspect? Yeah, this mystery just became a lot less mysterious. Yeah, but if they know he was never arrested for anything involving Joey, and the police, even in the disappeared episode, were adamant that he was not a suspect, he could not have done anything. But I'm like, how? What makes you say he could not have done something? What is that information?
What evidence do you have to make him clean of these?
Right. What evidence or what information do you have that is so credible that you know with absolute certainty that the last person to see the victim, and who admittedly the last time he saw that victim had a big argument with her where she blew up and attacked him? Pennsylvania is a different kind of weird, in my opinion. What's your theory, Blue?
Pennsylvania, you live up in those Appalachian Mountains. It gets weird.
Let's hear Blue's theory. I'm really interested. This case keeps me up. I'm telling you, Kayla Berg. I'm hoping to do Kayla, Clinton, and Lauren, a little differently. I'm very nervous. I'm not used to doing these types of streams. I'll have photos and I'll be set up a lot better for next week.
Yeah. Well, my theory is either she's still alive and something else went on that has cleared him and they know, or maybe they're trying to hide the police department. It screwed up and they don't know how to handle it. So they just deny, oh, we don't need to check you out.
No, I don't think there's any. I didn't mean that offensively. I just mean in my experience with Pennsylvania, you have to remember I had a tragedy happen there to me that was not handled very well. I was basically run out of that state, and I just don't have the best relationship with the state of Pennsylvania. And the people there don't really like us either. So they see the Jersey license plate, or I'd be there and I'd be sitting in my car at the gas pump, and they'd be like, "Are you from Jersey or something?" And it's like, yeah. Yes, I don't know how to do this. Blue, what's your theory? You want to go to the weird? I'm trying. I mean, eventually I'll get something together. I'm really struggling with this channel, as most of you probably know. First time in 4.5 years, I didn't even get paid, not even from views or ad revenue in December. And I, donations, everything's changed since I stopped doing Oracle, and I'm just not going to do it anymore. So we've got to figure something else out, and we will. And I hope that this works, and I hope we find our groove with it. We'll also be talking about the paranormal going forward. It's not just going to be true crime, but a lot of people asked me to bring back more true crime on my channel. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do. Latro, what's up? All right, so Blue says, during that time, if he was dealing/cooking, he may have been under surveillance or running with a UC. What's a UC? Who could vouch for his actions? Oh, undercover. You know what? Maybe, because they would not give that information out as to how they cleared him.
That's highly possible.
I didn't even think of that.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Because I was thinking maybe they wanted him for something bigger, but that other stuff didn't even happen. He was remarried and like stepfathering someone else's kids within a year of Joey going missing. And they had been together for a long time.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not judging. Again, I can't judge this person's heart or their life or anything. When you fall in love, you fall in love. And sometimes you fall in love at the worst possible time, in the worst possible way, in the worst possible situation. So to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. But
yeah, but
again, I know if I got into a fight with my husband and I attacked him and then he went missing for 10 days, I know and then I refused to take a polygraph. And I was in and out of the house. Like, I know my butt would be in jail. Like, that's I don't know if it's my luck or like, but it would make sense. And that makes so much sense too.
Yeah, it does.
One of the theories that plays over and over again in my head is that, see, Joey was immature, but from all accounts, everyone who met her for like 5 minutes, she was a mama bear. Like, she was fierce. Like, cops tried to remove her kids with CPS when that thing went down with the guy from California on the internet. Yo, she attacked them. Like, she was going to hurt them. Like, she did not care.
Yeah.
So I wonder if with the newborn baby there, she like walks in on him cooking something up, or he or she finds out he's been using like her basement. Like, something happens.
Right.
And the baby just ends up being collateral damage. And then the other theory I really keep thinking is that she trusted the wrong person and that person trafficked her. Because 2007 was almost 20 years ago. Yep. Almost 19 years ago now.
19 years ago. That meant, see, there's so much that could have happened. Because like I said, she could have actually been still alive doing all this.
That's true. And if the neighbor did see her and she was pushing an empty baby stroller, did she say like, I'll show you, I'll clean the baby and like snap? Was she using something that he was? There's so many questions. Not this case, Mama Cindy. I know the last I checked, which was yesterday, there were no updates. The mom has custody of the oldest two. And the mom was never a suspect. The mom was never anywhere in the area. But if you mean the fiance, I mean, that's who we're talking about here. This case, there are cases sometimes that you see that just stick with you. There's a girl named Kristen something also that I want to cover, but they recently solved that. The last person she was seen with, he comes out and he's like, yeah, her family's standing outside my house with signs saying I know more than I know, and they're embarrassing me and I'm suing them. He's suing the family for accusing him. Turns out they were right all along. He put the girl in the trunk, so that's why I never covered her case, because it's a solved mystery. But Blue, I've heard of that too. Like people getting a lot of passes for certain things. I've actually seen it personally in my life where like dude just like, robbed the bank on the corner and like he's out the next day.
Yeah.
That's how we would all on the block know, like, don't even bother. Like that person is doing something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
There's more going on behind the scenes than we know.
Yeah, like we were all just hanging out and this guy's like, yo, and he's like, let me get your hat to my dad. Dad gives him the hat. And he's like, I'm gonna go rob this bank real quick. Y'all want anything? We think he's kidding. Ha, gonna rob a bank. Dude actually robbed the bank. Like, I had left before he came back, thank goodness, because everybody who was there is now like a witness. Now everyone's involved. That's why I didn't hang out with people. Netter, we've had some major issues with this stream. I wasn't prepared. I thought I could just turn my computer on and live stream like I always have the last 4 years. Apparently StreamYard now wants you to do 2 streams at one time. My Ethernet cable isn't hooked up properly because my son borrowed it. My Wi-Fi is wonky. I have to go into StreamYard and fix the settings because they want you to have one vertical for people watching on their phones and one horizontal for people watching on the laptop, which will double my views. But for me, I don't like this look. I don't like the hassle, and I don't like the confusion of like, I can only see the people who are in this stream. Everyone on the other stream, I can't see anything.
Well, actually, if you look at our StreamYard chat, it shows a little cell phone above the names of the people that are in the cell phone. And then people that are not don't have anything. See what I'm saying? If you scroll, you'll see like a little cell phone above their name, around their name, or underneath their name, and then their chat. So everybody can hear you. And when you type to both of them. When you're using your name, you actually go, you don't have to worry about switching back and forth like I do.
I wonder if she snapped the baby was an accident. He seen it and burnt the house down to cover for her, disappeared her for her. See, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking she did something either accidentally or on purpose, one or the other. And she panicked and maybe called him, and he was like, okay. And then he freaked out because of what she did, hurt her in some way, and then disappeared her and burnt the house. But the neighbors heard a really loud bang explosion. To me, that's a meth lab because of all the other evidence in this case, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to look a little bit harder and see if I can find updates. Actually, no, it's a story I saw on Disappeared way back when that I've covered once a year, every year since I started my channel. There's 4 cases I was talking about that just, I've covered them every year for 4 years. They just haunt me. It's Joey Lynn Offit, which is the one I'm talking about now. Lauren Dunn Astley, the teenager who was loved to death, was the name of that one. Kayla Berg, which was an insane case, and Clinton Nelson, whose mother I'm friends with, or friendly with, I should say, and who the person whose house Clinton was at when he disappeared, who, like, if you watch the Disappeared episode of Clinton Nelson, they're like Larry Gillespie. He knows this, knows that. I'm very good friends with Larry Gillespie and through this case, and I don't believe he did anything. I believe they got it all wrong. I think I might ask him to come on. He's got some issues, though. I mean, having something like that, it affected his whole life, sure. His business, his ability to get a job, his, they live in like the backwoods of Louisiana where like everyone knows everyone. And he said it basically destroyed his life. And that mom, I feel so bad for his mom. His mom, like, still friends with her on Facebook. I don't speak to her much, but she's just like the sweetest lady. That's what caught my eye about that case, was just the mom. Like, she's just so like out there for her son. And this kid literally vanished. Like I don't even know what a theory would be. There's one theory that he OD'd. That's it. That's the theory, but he was never found. Maybe we'll cover that as well. I know people from Ireland think that Americans are weird. I think a lot of people across the world think Americans are weird. Because we are. We definitely are. I want to thank you guys for hanging out and listening to me jabber. I'm a little nervous, again, about doing something different. Maybe I'll try to get some guests on. I am going to try very hard, though, to be here every single week for you guys. We're going to work behind the scenes to kind of put the information better. It's not always going to be true crime. A lot of you really liked when we showed the images of like the old-timey non-AI photos and we talked about vampirism. I just want to do so much and just really get my channel thriving again. I'm going to end because I do have to shower, and we've been here about 45 minutes. We'll push them up to an hour to, maybe a little over once I get my setup set up again. Thank you for bearing with me. Thanks for coming back. Hopefully we can get bigger crowds, and I can stand on my name, not just stand on the fact that I give away oracle readings. I mean, I really would like to move forward in my career from that a little bit. And I appreciate all of you guys who support me. Don't forget to donate, PayPal or Cash App. My Patreon is shut down right now. I don't know who's donating. I'm doing like 8 readings a month for people who have been donating through Patreon, but this month I only made $10, which means 7.5 people pulled their donation and didn't tell me, and then they like accepted readings anyway. I'm having a lot of behind the scenes issues. So if you want to donate, and I do see them come in and I do appreciate it, PayPal or Cash App. Just for now, I want to get a whole new Patreon going, a whole new membership tier. It's going to take some time, but I have been working on it. I really want to change a lot about this channel and just make it so much better and so much more than what it is right now, with Oracle being thrown to the side. I mean, my views suffered so greatly. I didn't even get paid in December, that's never happened before. So work with me, guys, please. And am I releasing them on Tuesday night? I keep going to say Wednesday. Tuesday night, we're talking about Ray Rivera. If you guys ever saw the Michael Douglas movie, I think it was released in 1999. It's called The Game. They think Ray Rivera might have been playing an actual game of that game in that movie. It's very, very crazy. Thank you, Marvin, for that. I don't know if you're just in here to give me your unwanted, unneeded, unnecessary, and unwarranted opinion, or if you heard anything I said, or if you're just here to, I don't know, pick at me. But I did just say I'm no longer doing oracle readings. So thank you for that, and go fuck yourself. How about that? Have a great night, everybody. Love you all, and I will see you next week. How's that for a Christian?